Yo, you already know what it is. It is your favorite blurred click, ready to talk blurred shit, and it's the weekend, baby. You know how we do. So yes, go ahead, pull up a seat. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe. Go ahead, hit that share button, because we ain't trying to be kept a secret. We is not your sad boo. Put us out there on blast and bring somebody to the combo. Oh, and if you didn't realize it, but Andor creeping on a come up is now breaking records. Hallelujah. Yeah, man. I'm talking about records. And I'm here to tell you how I feel about Andor. I just watched the season finale and I cried. I cried. Oh, because it was bad. It was so sad. I'm trying to tell y'all is missing out. And if you're one of these Star Wars fans out there falling asleep to Andor, trying to shade Andor because it ain't got no lightsabers, trying to stick talk shit because it ain't no force sensitivity all through it, then I got words for you. But we're going to get into that a little later. But before we even start talking about Andor, before we start talking about what else is popping, did you see the new Ironheart preview? Because we're going to show it today, baby. We're going to talk about it. So that's a thing that's happening. And we can't forget about Ellie and what she doing out there without Joe. I mean, excuse me, let me not spoil it. Without Joe, you should have been watched it if you a fan. Forget you, damn it. And everything else that's going on. And even though I still don't think that they're going to give us the Abby that we got in the video game, we still going to sit and give our opinions. Oh, also, did you hear that old thing about gorillas versus men? Well, I had my own shot at it, and I'm going to tell you how it turned out. Let's go ahead and get to it, everybody. Oh, by the way, did I mention we may or may not have a special guest this morning joining us from both coasts? Get yourself ready, everybody. You already know what it is. It's your favorite Blurred Friends, and it's the New Blurred Order. Tell them who he is, Yvette.
The New Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit. I hope you'll join us next time. The New Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit.
Yvette, I know we heard you the first time. Dang, I mean, we might as well get Thugnificent to say
This is Thugnificent telling everybody to tune in to New Blurred Order, my nigga. The best podcast on the planet Earth, nigga.
Alrighty, as I said before, guys, Andor just finished its second season, and it is getting the highest ranked reviews of all Star Wars shows. I'm talking Obi-Wan, Mandalorian, all of that, and for good reason. We'll get into that a little later because it's a lot to take in. If you're not on it, get on it and report back to base at 0800. Now, also, there's an Ironheart preview out there, and we're gonna check that out. And as you all remember, our homeboy Black Gay Comic Geek, aka Michael, he don't like it when I use his whole name, but he told us how they ain't really putting this Ironheart stuff out there the way we would like for them to. Remember how they went ham bone about Falcon and Winter Soldier and all these other things, but for some reason these Ironheart previews is coming out just a tad late to generate interest. That's a topic of discussion. And yes, we did watch Last of Us, and Ellie is still a whole asshole, but she's still our hero, is she not? But before we get into any of that, and before I give you my true, genuine feelings about how dope of a show Andor is, we got a special treat for y'all this morning. We happen to be joined by some folks who also are into that blurred stuff like us. I said it. Go ahead. Y'all ready? On three. One of us. One of us. One of us. And they decided they would give us at least a little bit of time to speak with them this morning. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the Pink Riot show hosts themselves. Oh, yeah, they in the building, baby. And they got opinions just like we got opinions. And as my first example, Exhibit A.
I'm a binger. So the fact that I'm having to wait week to week to continue watching The Last of Us is really irking my soul. I'm not a week to week girly. I like to be able to binge at least like 3 to 4 episodes. So this waiting every week to watch that is really not it for me. I'm a binger. So the fact that I'm having to wait week to week to continue watching The Last of Us is really irking my soul.
Oh, I can relate. Can anybody else out there relate? Well, let's hear it directly from the vixen's mouth. Please help me welcome to the platform for the first time, hopefully not the last, the one and only Blurred Library and the Pink Riot, along with Keisha and Bree. What's up?
Hey, everyone.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
So let me just start by saying you are not alone. You are not the only one that hates to wait for everything to happen. So I mean, you're watching Last of Us, I'm watching Last of Us, but as a binger, do you hate every platform other than Netflix?
It's like you gotta have that love-hate relationship, you know. I'm kind of at this place now where I'm like, I already know how I am. We just gonna get a few aces in the hole before we even try to go to that show. So I have to like have a good rotation of other stuff to watch.
Right.
And I'll just make sure like, all right, that I'm gonna wait until that has like 3 or 4 episodes before I start watching that. And in the meantime, I'm gonna watch something that I haven't seen before, but also an avid reader, so I have to like spread my stuff out. Usually I'm not watching it until I got a couple of episodes to watch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a friend of mine that I know who's on the screen next to you. Who, who doesn't like to wait for things to hit the movie theater.
Oh,
And
wait. Oh, you know what? I love pirates. Okay.
Arr! Arr! Lady. Yeah.
So let me real quick. Is it the same for you, Keisha? Keisha, I don't get the sense that you had that same.
Nah, not at all. I'm fine because I'm the type of person I like to stick to my comfort shows, and every once in a while I'll put something new in there. So like right now I'm watching a show that I've probably watched like 4 or 5 times in the last 5 years. Like Bree is trying to get me to watch Andor right now, and she's having a hard time convincing me.
Yo, are you not a Star Wars person, Keisha? Whoa, I saw the eyebrows.
Hold up before you're just gonna skip past that. First of all, Keisha, are you just gonna leave us on the ledge? We're just wondering what show are you watching? I'm watching this show that I've been watching like 5 times, but y'all gotta guess what show that is. Like,
all right, so right now I'm watching Elementary. It's this Sherlock Holmes type show. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty, with Lucy Liu and stuff. Like I love that show. I watch it at least once a year. And then I'm also watching seasons 5 through 7 of My Hero Academia. And I just love having that in the background.
Oh, you're a Todoroki ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay, Fire and Ice ass. Okay.
Yeah. That's my show.
That's acceptable. That's acceptable.
All right. That I think we can forgive pushing Andor to the back burner. You know what I'm saying?
You get it.
But I mean, all right. So listen. So if I could just have just a little bit of full disclosure here before we've already kind of delved in a little bit, but I'm just gonna be front with our audience. Shout out to everybody who's watching Twitch. If you're listening on iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Truth Social, wherever it is that you got us. I don't know how we got in there, but somehow we in there. And yes, I'm just playing by that. And for those of y'all who are in our comment section, what's going on, Runwell? What's going on, Lisa? We got our favorite people in the building. Harmony, yes, we got to be on our best behavior because we got guests. So please, next time they come, they got to fix their own drink. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. But, it is. So we got, yes, we're going to talk a little Ironheart, Serenity. And, I can't go through all the comments right now, but thank y'all for pulling up. But I just want to tell y'all how we ended up here, okay? So I'm doing my little doom scroll, you know what I'm saying? And nope, I don't want no news. Oh, he did what? Oh, wow. Oh, we're at war? Oh, wow. Oh, and then I'm like, oh, whoa. Pink Riot, what is that? 2 black women talking nerd shit in a blurred night with books behind them? I was like, excuse me, sign me up. So I immediately started respectfully, just kind of like seeing if, this is something that we could possibly put together, as I would love to meet these lovely young ladies. Come to find out, they ain't even in the same room. They got two completely different libraries. Like, I thought it was like in the same place. They're not even on the same coasts, everybody.
Now,
like, they're not even in the same time zone. And they
No.
got this thing going on, and that just shows the love of the content that we, as melanated folks, love to consume, and how tight-knit the groups that we form can become. How did y'all meet each other? Y'all childhood friends, or what's going on?
oh man. Right.
That would be so cute if that was
Right?
our backstory, Loki. But now, like, I'd say at the peak of the pandemic, you know, looking for
Yeah.
community, people who love to read the same type of things. I started a book club called Be Too Weird, and I was like
Oh.
creeping on the Blurred Library because she always comes with the hot takes and, you know, that studious approach to things, forever dropping gems. So I was overjoyed when she joined the book club. And then we both kind of learned, like, oh, wait,
We
she
both
rocks with
love
comics like I rock with comics. Yeah. So we like low key, Pink Riot was a thing before it was a thing for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
people
a
were
lot of the
like,
conversations we were having were about comics after, after we were talking about our books. And so
Yeah.
it was just really cool that everything kind of came together in the right moment last year. We were like, yo, fuck it. Let's just do this. Like, let's be delusional about it.
yeah, yeah.
I fucking love it, man. So this is what I just heard, Ty. I heard Bree put out the bat signal, aka threw up the hat, and was like, "Yo, where are my blurs at? You know,
Yeah.
where are my blurs at?" Type shit, right? And the
Yeah.
community that came to the signal included Keisha, but it wasn't love at first sight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
It
no,
wasn't
it
like-
definitely
No,
was.
It was. When I say we've seen eye to eye on a lot of things, we have a lot in common. But we do have like two very different personalities. Like I always say, I'm Raven, Bree is Starfire. And we just like
Okay.
balance each other out really, really well.
Yeah.
love it. Well, okay, so let's go to the next step. When you guys have established the rapport, the love, the camaraderie that you've had, somebody was like, "Girl, you know what? We should do this every week, or we should do this every Tuesday and Thursday." Or I'm sorry, I should
Imaginary hair flip,
Right?
Crazy.
all right, my bad. Maybe without the hand
But it's
motions.
accurate. But it's accurate.
All right, my bad. I'm an idiot.
No,
So-
you're good.
So as you guys were kind of learning each other, just real quick, and forgive me if I get too deep, but what were the similarities? What were, all right, for instance, like I've known this nigga for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like it, just too long. You know, I don't gotta, you got that thing where we look at each other, you be like,
Yeah.
like, we don't gotta talk.
Yeah.
But some of the things that we bonded over at first, well, I don't know. We probably can't talk about all that. But
Whoa.
Interesting now. Interesting.
Right, like
Some of the things we bonded over were you know what? Let me flash forward 10 years.
Yeah. Just
And then 10 years later, we kept calling each other and talking about, yo, did you see that episode of? I'd be like, yeah, I seen it. And we would talk for hours, literally hours. It got to the point where my wife overheard us talking and was like, yo, I don't know what the hell y'all talk about, but it's interesting. She was like, y'all should talk about it so other people can listen too. And I talked to Ty about it. He was like, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, you know, he's from Jersey. Yeah, I mean, if
that's not how I talk though. Like
if you want to do all that,
I love how you just put on the DMX voice, right?
Like,
if you want to do all that, yeah, I mean, that's all good or whatever. Yeah, I mean, and I was like, all right, cool. So then we put our minds together, and then we would link up and we'd talk. And then we've had some folks that have joined us on this journey in the process. It sounds like there's a similar thing that's happening with you all. But what are the things that you like? I just noticed it, and Dirk, and forgive me if I'm misperceiving this, Keisha, but based on my perceptions, it feels like Bree is more of a Star Wars fan than you. Am I?
Absolutely.
Anywhere? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, not wrong in that in the slightest. I cannot. The Star Wars fandom is intimidating. It is frustrating. There's a lot of things I just don't understand about the Star Wars fandom. Let me go down the list.
Okay. All right, hold on. You're gonna do it like that? Wow. Go ahead.
All right. I don't understand how you could be a Star Wars fan and like not bring it to like social justice or whatever, but like I don't understand how you could be a Star Wars fan and racist, but there's so many of them in there. And just like I can't have that conversation with people with that level of disconnect at all. It just feels so, it's like you're not understanding the reason why this exists. Like it's anti-fascist at its state. And for you not to understand that, we can't have a conversation about this kind of content. So yeah, for that reason alone, I'm like, I don't want to deal with the fandom at all.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. The Star Wars fandom is a fickle bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a Malcolm versus Martin type of approach to how we handled fandom. So like Keisha's the Malcolm, I'm the Martin. I'm kind of like, anytime I have to deal with that type of foolishness, I'm looking at it as an opportunity to like open someone's heart. I feel like I'm a vibey person. So I'm like, they're ignorant now, but something about this story had to stick. So I'm gonna stick beside my Star Wars fandom and just deal with some of the foolishness because we deserve our space too. So yeah,
exactly.
Different approaches.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bree, but I completely understand Keisha.
Yeah,
I will say, Keisha, I hope that the fandom doesn't deter from the actual story and the people that created it and their intention. Although there is definitely room for criticism, specifically speaking on how they treated our boy Finn, aka
John Boyega. John Boyega,
yeah. John Boy. All right. Like if we live through his skin, then he started as a Star Wars fan and was like, yo, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no franchise worth this much, vitriol. But toting the line of Bree, I refuse to let racist assholes stop me from liking what I like. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand not wanting to deal with the malarkey that goes on in the comment sections with the racist folks that don't even realize that they're talking about a revolution that basically feels like it's literally taken from the Black Plight. You know what I'm saying? Like it, but when you slap white faces on it, they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So for that, I can understand. But if I also had to be observant, I would guess that perhaps maybe Bree, Keisha is more into anime than you, perhaps a little bit. Is that safe to assume or no?
No, I wouldn't
like
say
different anime.
Yeah, we like different anime. I would say that she has more skin in the game in terms of her anime experience because my introduction, well, I wouldn't say my introduction, but when I really started like paying attention to anime like that outside of like Toonami, whatever, has been more recent. So like she has seen a lot more anime than I have, but like the ones that we like, we ride for. Like I'm definitely a One Piece girly, and Keisha's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. You feel me? Like she just
1,000
got
episodes
me.
is a commitment.
Yeah, I just started.
I said the same thing.
But see, I'm a binger, so it's nothing to a boss. You feel me? Like we hit that thing. So yeah, we caught up now. But
Bree, like, I'm a binger too. But like 1,000 episodes, like those numbers start to do things to me when I look at stuff like that. I'm like, am I really that invested? Am I gonna be that invested? Because once you start, you feel like you're obligated. At that point, you're like, all right, I'm 40 episodes in. What's 960 more? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm with Keish on that one. Like I can't. I've tried. I love the live action. The live action version of One Piece was really good. I thought it was done well. I agree. So I'm a Monkey Luffy fan, but not enough. It's like I love New Edition. Am I gonna go pay $200-$300 to go see him at this point? No.
Hold on. Hey, hold on, Ty. Hold on. Let me. Hey, young ladies, New Edition is this group. like back in the.
Don't do it.
80s.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, I will
Don't do
take
it.
that compliment. He's trying to say we look so young. There's no way we could know who
Okay,
New
okay,
Edition is.
Okay.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you,
I'll
Bree.
take
Yes,
Uh,
back in the
yeah.
80s.
I was saying.
Well before y'all were born.
Disrespect.
Like
The
well back in the
disrespect.
1900s.
The Ralph, Ricky,
The
Bobby.
1900s is crazy.
Like, are you the disrespect? Like, oh my gosh.
I love New
I'm sorry, guys.
Yes.
I can't help it, man. Yo, look, man, we are generational type folks, man. It is what it is. So, yo, y'all are into the Monkey Luffy. So, let me ask you this real quick. Like, did you like the live action as much as Ty did, Bree?
Oh, I loved the live action. I was pleasantly surprised at how well done it was, because when I tell you, I was like, I'm just gonna prepare myself for the tomfoolery, fuckery, whatever they're about to do with this, based on how they did previous live actions of like Avatar. My brain was prepared to be disappointed like that. So when it hit the way that it did, I was like, oh, you want to talk about mothers? I was like, I'll take this. I liked it a lot.
Okay. So we're liking the new One Piece.
Yeah.
Keisha, you share those feelings?
I refuse to touch One Piece. Once again, that is a whole commitment.
I was talking about the live action though. No.
Oh no, I feel like once I've made my decision, it's kind of back there. Maybe one of these days I might, but for now,
y'all, she does not play about this. I've taken my stance on this. Like,
yeah,
that's what made it so sad about the Star Wars situation. I was so hyped when she was like, you know what, I'll give the Acolyte a try.
I watched Acolyte,
and she liked it, and then they let us down because the fandom showed their ass and the show got canceled. So I was like, dang, not y'all proving her point.
Yeah. Wow. Like literally, like the one show that I probably would have been like, yo, this one is complex. And I don't know if we want to get into the complexities of it, but from where I stand, Acolyte was a great idea that was executed not as well as it could have been.
Yeah.
If we could just for a second, if you don't mind, Bree, because I rarely get to chat.
Yeah, no, let's go.
But for Acolyte, one of the things that I think went wrong was that they focused the story in the wrong places. The story was more focused on the twins, when in my opinion, it should have been more on the original Acolyte. That was the one that went to train the twins, or not the twins, but what was her name? Freaking names, things I did in my life. I don't remember that. So I feel like the concept of the Empire, or not necessarily Empire, but the Jedi being cast as the villains is hella fascinating. Yeah. And I love that. Like, I love the idea of Star Wars leaning into the different perspectives of the members of that galaxy, right? Because all up until now, the Jedis are the heroes, but we forget they used to work for the government, right? Like they was the enforcers. Like, they showed up and was like, yo, that kid, we gonna need you to cough that kid up right quick. But this my kid. Hey, the government say if your kid got some force sensitivities, then we gonna need you to come up. It's like DCF showing up at your front door and like, is this black woman like, and all they have is like some witchcraft and some Mercury retrograde to try to fight it off. Like, it didn't sit well for me. But the dude who played, and man, I'm gonna remember his name at some point in time. But the dude who played the guy who was the you know what I'm talking about. I forget his name. You know, yeah. We're all like, yeah, that guy, yeah.
Fine shit, yeah,
right, yeah.
The dude guy,
the guy dude with the no shirt and the water and the thing,
the topless dude, whatever, yeah. All right, so this dude, like, his storyline was so dope. He was taken in by the Jedi, but he was like let down by the Jedi, but he already now has all of the Jedi knowledge, so he can use the Force to do whatever he wants. And this dude was like, did you see him in the woods? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm geeking out.
We love to see it, right?
But the Star Wars sequences of Jedi fights, chef's kiss. First opening scene where she took out the Jedi from the Matrix, chef's kiss. But writing, plot development.
I think that. Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
I think while Amanda Sam, I feel like they could have just used twins, in my humble
Okay.
opinion. Like that could have helped with that situation. I
Disagree.
feel like right, like
Strong
if
disagree.
really, because I feel like okay, even with Sinners, right, and you had Michael B. Jordan playing both twins, that felt more believable than
It
what
did.
happened in Acolyte. Or at least like the cinematography would have made it a little better. And then
It's not just because Michael B. Jordan looks good twice.
No,
no, no,
listen,
no, no.
listen.
Um, and then I feel like a lot too many people had issues with the Jedi being bad, like you said. But then it like if you remember that clip with Freddie Prinze Jr. and how he's always saying with Star Wars, there's always a balance of good and evil. Like a lot of people just they didn't want to see that, and I'm like, no, this makes sense. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, and I understand that this makes sense. Eventually, like there had to have been a reason, why the Empire came up. Like somebody was the rebellion, somebody was the rebel, somebody was the evil person or whatever. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, I enjoy that outside of those two things. Yeah.
Bree, you
I
said you
gotta,
disagree?
yeah, I gotta disagree. Love you, Keisha, but I feel like all of the elements for this show to be a success were there, and where they failed was in execution. Because you're right, we had a very interesting, I guess, anti-hero / villain situation, very cool elements, things that you could be interested in, a new lens to look at, Jedi through. The twin thing was cool, but it shouldn't have been the focus. I'm fine with Amandla doing her thing in two different roles, but I feel like where it failed was they didn't take the opportunities to like key into fan service for the people who they knew were going to hate on it. And that's been like a continued issue within Star Wars as a whole. Like if you know that there are certain themes and cues that you have to hit in order for like the OG purist Star Wars fans to appreciate it, then like, yeah, try new things, but you still need to hit those points unless you want them to like completely go against it. So, I love whoever that was in the chat talking about Andor, because I feel like the Andor hit on all of those notes that we needed, just like Rogue One hit on all of those notes that we needed. So you have people like ranking that high, understandably so, because they're like, we're going to give you a new perspective, but we're still going to hit all of the notes that you need. That's why like the prequels, that's why they got so much hate, because they didn't hit on the notes that the OG fans needed in order to embrace these new concepts. Does that make sense?
It does make sense,
Yeah.
but can I add an opinion?
Yeah, please do.
I don't think that that's why people didn't like the prequels. I think that people didn't like the prequels, frankly, because they're assholes.
100% racist assholes who can't
Yep.
stand to see a black woman in a lead role. But that was my point. If you hit all of those notes where you literally give them nothing to say in terms of all of the rest of that, then it's like, okay, buddy, your racism is showing, because what problems do you have? But they left those gaps and opportunities for them to tear it down. Whereas yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I was just gonna say that's why I hear what you're saying, and I gotta say it's refreshing to hear such hope within the galaxy of Star Wars. But I hate to say it, but them assholes, it don't matter what you do, Bree, they gonna hate it. like the Star Wars community they had like damn near 20 years to develop and cement what they require of Star Wars projects. And some of that is what they saw in the OG Star Wars. They want to see the Skywalkers and lightsabers and the white folks that wield them. All right, with the exception of Mace Windu, hallelujah, and Keller and Beck.
They had their beef with that too.
and Reaper. All right.
Yes,
But
Harmony. Race is going racist.
so anything that goes outside of that box, no matter what it is going to be met with apprehension, in my opinion. Like even like one of the only things that did not get met with that type of backlash was baby Grogu. Shout out to Grogu in the comment section, because it was something we're like, okay, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. Little green thing, cute. I'm not sure exactly how to go about the rest of my, but I'm interested. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can't hate on the little green dude. Black woman, sure. Yeah, I know them. I know one of them. I want to hate on that. Yeah, that's not what I like. But little green,
Counterpoint, they had every issue. So like, take what you're talking about like Mace Windu, okay? That's something that him having a purple lightsaber went completely against Star Wars lore. But they were like, we're gonna stand on business because Samuel Jackson is that dude, and we're going to create the lore to back it up. So then it was like, how mad can you be if I'm giving all of these reasons that make like cooler canon shit in the background make sense? You can't be mad at the only nigga being that nigga with the purple lightsaber. You can't be mad at it because the lore supports it. So that just proves my point. Like, if they fill that gap, there's less for them to be mad about, and they kind of have to embrace this new aspect of the lore. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Ty, do you have any thoughts?
I just think that when it comes to Andor and Acolyte, I think there was a level of laziness that was kind of used when making Acolyte that is not present in Andor. Andor is a slow burn, like probably one of the slowest burns you're ever going to see.
Okay, all right.
What?
I'm just saying, like, just like you was starting to go the slowest burn. You was about to go down a dark path.
I'm not going down a dark path, and even if I am, let me go down my dark path.
Let him
I myself.
Right, let him
What the hell wrong with you? Anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to what I was saying.
All right, back to
it's a very slow burn. It's one of the slowest burns that I've ever experienced. But it's intentional. The whole point of it is that we're going to go very slowly so that you can comprehend everything that's going on, because there's a lot going on in the background. There's this layer, there's this layer, this movement, this over here, this is connected, that's connected. And if you don't go slowly, then you'll go over the heads of a lot of people. Yeah. So I understand why they're moving the way that they are, but it's an intentional movement. And it feels like they knew that this was going to be our baby. This is the way we want to roll out this Andor series, because we want everybody to understand that we can do it. And that's the point. That's the part that I have a problem with the Star Wars world with, because when it comes to certain projects, it's extremely lazy. Like Boba Fett,
oh
extremely
my God.
lazy.
That shit was criminal.
Like Acolyte, again, lazy. Ahsoka, for some of it, very lazy. And when it comes to and these are all, mind you, all properties that possess all the things you were talking about, lightsabers, I'm saying, lightsaber fights, galactic battles, I'm saying. So all of those things that a Star Wars fan would be interested in are present in all of those. Yet you have all of these issues. Andor, not so much. You just said it's rated the highest of any Star Wars property, 95%, and this, da. Everybody's raving and praising and da. They went out and got all of the studs when it came to acting. It was like, oh, we're gonna go get us a Skarsgård. We're gonna get us we're gonna get Pedro in here, So it's a lot of stuff. Luna, I think his name is
Diego Luna,
right? Yeah. Diego. Yeah, my bad. That's the difference that I think when it comes to a property like Acolyte versus an Andor, is they're taking their time with Andor intentionally. And it's kind of reaping the benefits of good writing and pace.
Do you think they're taking their time because they know that they had multiple seasons to work with? Because I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of failures, especially when you have Black leads, they feel like they got to get everything in that one season because they never know if something is going to happen at the end of it. So, like, I feel like maybe that might also have been a downfall of Acolyte.
Yeah.
Well, also we have to remember that Andor, unlike any of the other recent series, actually had source material to work with, right? They're built from a world that was created through Rogue One. So they didn't have to necessarily create new characters. They were able to build on characters that already existed. And that's some of the fun of Andor, is seeing how we get to the point that we left off, or that we started with Rogue One, which Rogue One was, for me, at first, I didn't like it. When I saw it in the movie theater, I went as a Star Wars fan who was under the impression that Star Wars meant lightsabers, Force, it meant Darth Vader, it meant creepy, weird things on Tatooine, and none of that shit happened in Rogue One. And somebody, after I watched it, I told them that, and they were like, "You fucking idiot!" You idiot! Like, do you know what Star Wars is about? I was like, yeah, it's about, the Jedi. He's like, it has nothing to do with the Jedi. The Jedi are a part of the wars, you idiot. Like, somebody had to sit your ass down. Let me tell you about Star Wars. And put me, I was like, okay, all right, let me watch it again. And I went back and I rewatched it. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about the concept of Saw Gerrera, who's basically the Malcolm X of the universe. Like he's like, yo, y'all ain't doing this rebellion fast enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't doing it good enough. And I love that character. I feel like it deserves, frankly, maybe a little bit more to delve into. But once I kind of was able to separate the concept of Star Wars being a franchise that's about lightsabers, furry creatures, and spaceship fights, and started to realize, no, this is about the government of the galaxy being oppressive to the entire galactic region. And the people have decided, oh, no, we don't like that. And even we've recruited your police, which originally were the Jedi. And we now got them on our side. Even after you Order 66 them, we're still outside. And that's what Andor is. Now, I ain't going to get into my spiel because I know everybody ain't watched it yet. But I'm loving how they did Andor because they did have source material. What you all speak of, though, I think is right. Like, Acolyte was an idea that they said, let's see how this works. Instead of like, okay, let's put in the time to make sure this is right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's unfair to the cast, if I'm being honest.
Vince, to the point of you're kind of making your point based around the fact that they have source material, and I want to support it, but I can't, because Boba Fett, it was the same thing. They had source material, and it came out terrible. This is deliberate, is what I'm saying. There's a level of that. This feels like they were like, all right, we're on the cusp of people not really caring about us anymore. We put out so much terrible shit that our fans are about to rebel on us, like the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, we need to have something that is going to bring everybody back into the fold, to let them realize that we still have the potential to give you good writing. And this is what I feel like they did with Andor. They felt like, this is our baby. This is potentially the one that's going to bring everybody back into the fold. And, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Acolyte, Boba Fett, it didn't feel that way. It felt like, all right, let's just put something out because people are complaining that we haven't put anything out. Let's throw it out there. And Andor is that one that they're like, no, we got the right people in place. Let's make this one, so this one feels real deliberate.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I don't think that Star Wars people make things deliberately bad, but I think that they deliberately don't put enough effort or work into it. And that also crosses over into other spectrums. So we've already kind of delved into Star Wars, and look at us just bonding over Star Wars. Oh, that's so dope. Now I want to just take a step back from Star Wars. We could jump back into that, obviously, since Andor is prevalent right now, even though everybody ain't watched it just yet.
That was unnecessary.
Not too much. Not too much on my co-host. Okay.
I'm just
Are y'all into the animated series at all? Any of the animated series? Because I think the animated series actually was keeping the Star Wars universe afloat.
So I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I've watched Clone Wars at least like the entire series, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Why you look mad about it? she like
that was a long series. That was pretty long too. That was
it's a long series. It's a long series. I love it though. I love it. I love the intentionality, and it is a fantastic series, I will admit. But I've only watched it because my husband loves Star Wars, and like I'm just like,
come on, hubby.
This is a lot, dude.
Oh man. Well, I mean, admittedly, so yeah, the world of Star Wars is definitely vast, right, Bree? Are you into the anime stuff like he says too?
I am not into the animated series. Like that's where I was like, Keisha, you can kind of say you're like deep into the Star Wars fandom, a little bit deeper maybe because you've watched Clone Wars. Because I was like, I feel like if I wasn't watching that when it was in its moment, it's above me now. Like I'm not getting into that. Like so, because that's a lot of episodes in and of itself, and I'm like,
you can't say that and still watch One Piece.
But that's different.
That's true.
Your introduction to it makes a world of a difference to how you consume that story, though. You feel me? Like I got put onto One Piece by somebody who rides for One Piece. They set the tone for me. They compared it to other stories that I've screamed and loved. They gave me the rundown of what to expect. And it was time, space, and opportunity for me to sit with the story so that I could get through. Because while I love the fandom, we all know that you got to pretty much get through that first arc before you could really fall in love with it.
True.
And once you reach that point, it's the point of no return. But with Clone Wars, it's like this is a whole other level of it. If I'm getting introduced to this, or if I didn't start paying attention to it until that type of animation was kind of like past its prime, like we're on to better shit at this point, I'm looking at that like, I don't know if I want to watch that many episodes of an animation style that I don't particularly care for a backstory that I don't have to know to appreciate the parts of the fandom that I do enjoy. You feel me? Like, so I was like, meh, if it's introduced to me in a way where I absolutely feel like I need it, which it hasn't thus far, I'm good off of Clone Wars. And
you said I need my animation in 4K.
What'd you say?
I said I need my animation in 4K
now.
I mean, like, listen, like low-key, that was one of the harder points about like getting into One Piece too, because I'd say until the Wano arc, that animation is giving us, it's risky, you know, it's a little iffy over there. But once you fall in love with the fam, you're like, okay, I didn't have that introduction for Clone Wars, so I just was like, when it's important, I'll watch it, and it hasn't been made important to me.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. one day, if time permits and if things happen, I would love to be instrumental in influencing you on how well orchestrated the Star Wars story is because of Clone Wars. It honestly is one of the best Star Wars projects, start to finish.
I have heard this.
Listen, the introductions are crazy. The introductions.
I used to hear the same thing, Bree. I used to be like, nah, that's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But then, like just the first season, I watched the first season, and I couldn't stop the next. You know how I come next episode 10, 9, 8. I'm like, nope, blip. Let's go ahead and get to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it delves into the complexities of each character. Do you know that Obi-Wan had a girlfriend? and because
I'm not the person. I wish I could just I guess convince you more, but
if anybody could do it, it's Keisha, but she's like, nah, you good.
Well, I don't want to come against Keisha. That's the last thing I want to do. So Keisha say you good, then you good. All right.
No,
So,
I've never felt the need to defend Star Wars. So like, but I will say, as an outside person who knows a lot about Clone Wars, is done very well. It's done very,
Clone
very
Wars and Bad Batch. I put
And
those
for a
two-
binger like yourself, that is
Ooh.
like
Yeah.
the series that's worth the binge.
Listen,
I mean, introduction.
you're not the one, okay? You are not the one because we came into this. I was like, okay, cool, a kindred pirate, and then you shed on One Piece. I'm like, nah, you're not the pirate that you say you are, my guy.
Not for one. Listen. I'm a pirate that has its limits, man. I've sailed I've
You do it
sailed
on the
the
weekend.
7 seas. I've sailed the 7 seas twice over. At this point, I'm looking for wreckages of treasure. only wreckages of treasure. No, I don't want to go on any more voyages. No Odyssey, no Odysseus, no none of that. So man.
All right. Well, we'll make a deal right here. I will watch Clone Wars when you watch One Piece.
Whoa, hold on, man.
I'm telling you. Listen. No. We can save that. We can save that right now. We don't.
We're done here.
I don't have the time to dedicate myself to 1,000 episodes of one show.
It's not even 1,000. It's like 1,100.
How about this? How about can we agree on the first season only of each?
That's not fair.
I can do that. I can do that.
That's not a fair comparison.
What is that? 40 episodes? What's that? 40 episodes?
It's not a fair comparison. Because you're telling me, and I'm gonna tell you why. You're telling me that the first season of Clone Wars is like gonna catch me and put me in that place.
Yeah.
One Piece, because of the animation style and how old it is and all that type of stuff, it's kind of you got to power through. If you're not like already an anime fan who can appreciate like the nostalgic value of that OG art style, you're not gonna come out after the first season with the same energy.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like it's like saying I want you to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special to know whether or not you're gonna like Infinity War. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not really
sounds harsh, but it's facts. Yeah. But for the sake of community, I will take the L and do this first season thing if you're down.
Okay.
Listen. What I didn't tell you is I'm probably already halfway through the first season, so that's not a problem. Not a problem.
This is a trap. This is a
trap. It's not a problem.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yo. All right. So Star Wars, check. If you don't mind, I'd like to kind of ask you guys a little bit more about your backgrounds, if you will. And I don't mean like school history. I mean like literally what's in your background. You have books on books on books on books behind y'all, and that is fascinating as hell to me. Do you all live at Hogwarts? What do we have going on here? Like, is this just a wing of your mansion? Or do we have to leave the house to go to? Talk to me about the books, your love of books, how possibly your love of books maybe brought y'all together. What books do you recommend for the readers out there? What are you reading right now? Just talk to us.
You see, did you see both of our faces twitch a little bit? That's the wrong shit to ask if you're not going to be here for a minute.
Yeah. That's a long conversation here.
Right? Yeah, you could go ahead. You go first, Keisha. Oh, okay.
Me? Okay.
You see this love? We just do that. Like I'm like, you go first, Keisha. You go first. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, you go. Okay. Because Okay. So we have very different libraries. We collect differently. So for me, these are only 4 of my 8 bookcases. I have another 4 in other parts of the house.
Jesus, wow.
And all 4 of these are my trade collected editions in sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. That's all I have up here. And then like my nonfiction related to comics, comics, Afrofuturism, Black feminism, and all of that. So most of this is all Black and brown folks. I only have a handful, authors, comics. Most of my stuff has been written by Black folks. Like, that's how I collect specifically. I only have a handful of things that was written by white people. Like, if anybody white listening, like, please don't take that into offense.
Whatever.
Right. I have, based on the last count in my house, I got about $600-700.
What?
Yeah. As you can see, I collect mainly Black comics, like specifically Black comics. I've been going back to like collect a lot of the older Golden Age stuff. Like, as you can see, one of my recent pickups was the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. Super excited about that one. What else? I had planned on going to school to get my PhD in Black comic studies. So, and the pandemic kind of like messed that up.
Whoa, hold on. Can I interject?
Yeah.
Black comic studies?
Yeah. So, like, it's part of a lot of English departments, or you could like do it as like an independent study. But basically, it's analyzing, researching literature, but specifically sequential arts. So, if you look at like artists like John Jennings, writers and artists like John Jennings, a lot of them are Yatasha Womack. There's a couple of people who are just like, they're professors at Tananarive Due. She's written comics. Like, they are also professors, and most of them also study comics like as a scholarly thing. I don't know why I can't think of the word, but yeah, that's what I love doing. I have a lot of obscure things like Brother Man. I have, oh man, I can't even think of it right now. I collect a lot of indie because that was going to be like even more of the niche that I wanted to go into, because I believe that a lot of indie work speaks more to the breadth and depth of the Black experience. And so yeah, you have to, right? But money wise, it's inaccessible for a lot of people. So I wanted to like figure out how to make that more accessible to people, like in the long run for me. I love anything that speaks about experimentation and like abolitionism. So like abolitionists. So Octavia Butler is someone who I absolutely love. N.K. Jemisin. Who else? I gotta look. River Solomon, Victor LaValle, Gloria Naylor, and Annette Okorafor. Like, those are some of the ones that I absolutely fell in love with and showed me like, this is what I wanted to read and to do, and use storytelling in this way to help people reimagine the world that we're currently in, because I don't feel like enough people can reimagine or imagine something different than the hellscape we're operating in right now. So like, if we can use these stories to then fix the world we're currently living in and see Black futures in a different and better space, I think is important. So yeah.
Ooh. Okay, agreed. All excellent points. So your library is on a different coast, Bree. But it looks equally extensive and impressive. Would you mind sharing us a little bit about your ostensive library that we see in your background? Your mic's muted. I don't know if you knew that before you speak.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear. There's like a really loud car in my neighborhood. There's
What
like
neighborhood? Where you in Compton? Where you
no, I'm in the Bay Area, but
Oh, my
people in
bad,
my
Bay Area. My bad, San Fran, Golden Gate, Alcatraz. I got you.
yeah, but there's like some old school like cougars in my neighborhood. So like, you know, on the weekends they go to like the car show type of vibe, so you can hear them. But I couldn't tell if you could hear it like on the live, so I didn't want to be interrupting Keisha. But yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you. They're saying they don't hear the car. But yeah, so my library is a little chaotic right now because one of my shelves like collapsed. So I'm currently rearranging my library right now. I know. So like I have all of my single comic issues in like short boxes, and they're all in their own space, but I tried to have all of my like hardcover omnibuses, compendiums, and like trade paperbacks in these like acrylic drawers, and they proved to be like way too heavy for the shelves, and one of them collapsed. So I'm like having to move everything around. It's a little chaotic in here right now. But much like Keisha, I have like she has more space and opportunity in her whole house. I have like my little small space to keep my things in. So I have my 4 bookcases, and then I have built-ins, and like these bookshelves are like double stacked. And I'm something of a special edition whore. So I have a lot of, as you can see, these are all these are all edges of the books because they're special editions. But yeah, I didn't have books for like a while. Like there was a period in my life where I wasn't reading very much, and then I decided like, why did I stop investing in this aspect of myself and really poured into the idea of science fiction and fantasy by authors of color, and like creating a space with my book club for people of every cultural background to see themselves in stories, because I feel like representation is really important. Like to Keisha's point about people, you know, seeing a different reality for themselves makes a world of a difference. So yeah, I've always loved stories, and I'm something of a collector at heart, but like Keisha was also saying, we collect a little differently. Like for me, my comic collection is all centered around women of color in comics, be it characters or creators. Less of a focus on indie. She's gotten me more into that, but yeah, it's mostly just been women of color in comics. That stemmed from, that's another thing that we both enjoy a lot. N.K. Jemisin is one of my favorite authors. And her foray into comics with Far Sector kind of was like the catalyst to my collection. And that's something that we both really bonded over. And that's kind of like crazy to think that's part of the origins of Pink Riot. We both like love NK down, like she's the queen of world building. And so whereas Keisha kind of took like a librarian standpoint, a blurred library, if you will, to how she was introduced to stories, mine was kind of backwards, which is why I feel we complement each other really well. Like I absolutely love NK Jemisin, and my love for her writing had me being like, well, who's comparable? Who were her inspirations? And so I went backwards to the Octavia Butlers and, you know, all those type, Joel Gomez, all those type of people. So it's always interesting for us to have these types of conversations because we're coming at it from typically coming at it from different angles. But yeah, my library is a little redonkulous, but
she's downplaying just how impressive her library is. We call it a variant vixen for a reason. She has like anything like
I just think he changed his background.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I got books, you know what I'm saying?
So 12 books.
This book right here, you know what I'm saying? It's my yearbook, you know what I'm saying, right there. You know
Not my yearbook. That is crazy.
Charlton Heston Moses. I read the movie. Let me stop.
I read the movie.
No, Bree is completely downplaying just how impressive her library is. Like she has things in her comic collection that I am just so jealous of. It's amazing. She has about we're on like short box number 20 something.
Yeah, I have
like,
24 short boxes. You were talking about how many books you have in your library. I feel like that's a lie because I just counted mine because I'm applying for a personal library grant, and I have like 1,200 some books. So I feel like you saying you have 700. I don't believe that. I feel like you need to
I got rid of some.
Okay.
Are you book burning, Keisha? I mean, are we doing that in the United States? Okay, because well, as the podcast progresses, I'm sure when your fandom, as it continues to grow, some of those folks would love to get that as a special prize or something. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know.
We actually just did that, like our giveaway.
Oh, can we do a shameless plug? Can we shameless plug right now?
I didn't help but notice. Yeah, go ahead. You had a giveaway of sorts.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it, Keisha, or are you gonna do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, Pink Riot Comic Show just had our first half birthday. Very merry on birthday to us. And we compiled this like mega load of all of these things, like exclusive variants and a whole bunch of trade paperbacks and manga by Black creators and some of Keisha's collages, comic book collages that she makes. So it's like a huge, awesome starter pack, if you will, for comic lovers or for people new to comics. And we got a bunch of like questions and prompts that you can follow. If you DM us the answers or if you make those specific posts, you can win entries. We're giving away 2 of these prize packs. And as it so happens, today is the absolute last day for you to get entries for the giveaway. So, like, he's showing it now, but you can go to Pink Riot Comic Show's IG and see all of the ways that you can gain entries. And we love to see you guys' post or your answers. The questions are like, if you go and check out some of our videos, you can easily find the answers, especially if you watch our half birthday live.
A lot of the answers are
a lot of the answers are in that episode. So yeah, we just wanted to like give back. Like I said, I'm a special edition whore and a hardcover whore. So more often than not, I'll pick up the trade paperbacks, and then when they come out with like a collected edition, I'll want that instead. So we have a bunch of like both of us have this going on.
I make mistakes and always end up with duplicates. So like right now, I think at least on my side, there's at least 10 trade paperbacks for each winner coming just from me.
Yeah, so, and there's 4 for each winner coming from me, and then we got a bunch of manga. I like intentionally bought Black manga for the giveaway from Saturday Morning and some other creators. And then I'm not the variant vixen for nothing. I love to collect exclusive variants, and I have intentionally bought like duplicates of some con exclusive foils of like Storm and issue 1 Black Panther Shuri variants that were like Unknown Comics exclusive. So like some of them you can get if you drop a pretty penny, some of them you can't get anymore. And I intentionally bought duplicates for such a giveaway. So some of those are slid in there too. And then Keisha's gonna downplay her art, but it's freaking gorgeous. She sources different comic books and she makes these like collages, and she uses different materials to make short boxes and posters and things like that. So she's making a comic size collage for these pad folios. Each person in the giveaway is getting a pad folio. It's like this hardcover container for you to take like your single issues in when you leave the comic shop, so that the babies are safe when you leave.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a hell of a giveaway. There's going to be the 2 winners. Like I said, you can check out the ways to get entries, and we'd love to see you guys over at Pink Riot and have a chance to win some stuff.
Hey, I know y'all just got the opportunity to get some of this stuff, so you better jump on it and make sure you follow.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
They ain't leaving right now, but make sure y'all follow the Pink Riot as soon as we get done with the show. Don't stop. Don't leave right now. You stay where you are. But as soon as we get done, Pink Riot, make sure y'all hit that follow button, subscribe, like, and don't just follow and lurk. All right, when they post, be active. All right, engage. Give them some engagement. You know what I mean?
We appreciate that.
To be built up. We gotta get. We're gonna work on these numbers. Let me ask y'all about this. I heard you mention Far Sector, which if you out there are aware, Far Sector is a DC comic which embodies some of the lanterns. And so I just have to ask you, ladies, it sounds like you may have a little bit of interest in maybe some DC stuff. I don't know if there's a lot or
I love
not.
DC.
Keisha's the DC girl.
I love
out
DC.
of the 2 of us.
Like, yeah, DC got my heart and soul. My dad, shout out to him. He wasn't like he was a Star Wars person, even though he wouldn't consider himself a nerd. He was a Star Wars person, and he also loved Justice League. So I grew up with Jon Stewart. And
Oh!
so like, yeah. So I love DC, and Green Lanterns have always, while I don't know everything, please don't question me up on everything. But like I've always had a love for Green Lanterns, and when Joe came out, I was like, oh, Black woman.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. And she's swag. She got swag too.
Listen,
Dripped to the
Johnner
jaw.
had that shit on.
No.
But I just wanted to know what y'all felt about Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron.
See how we have different reactions, right?
I see there seems to be some sort of consistent reaction with the ladies that get this news. I can't help but feel like my wife is so interested in Green Lantern all of a sudden out of nowhere. We got to get tickets for Green Lantern, even though it's a show coming on Max. We got to get tickets for it, and we don't want to wait. Like, ladies, I mean, just, you know what I'm saying? Your level of excitement for Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. I guess that we can say that you all are a smidge excited.
You go ahead first, Bree.
We have had this conversation because, and you wrong for putting that up, but we have had this conversation because while Aaron Pierre is one hell of a specimen, I'm not going to lie about that.
Yes.
We both agreed that Jon Stewart should have been represented how he was in the comics. Canonically, he's been a dark-skinned brother. He was
created to be a dark-skinned brother.
Yeah, his story, and it's not. So here's my thing. I'm fine with changing someone's appearance if it has nothing to do with their character as a person. You know what I'm saying? Canonically, but Jon Stewart, you can't say that. So much of his identity was rooted in his experience as a Black man. And I'm light-skinned, so I can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a real thing. Like, and there were so many options right there. And you know that I feel strongly about this because Aaron Pierre, baby, let me tell you something, baby. But we all know that it should have been something different, and colorism is definitely at play here. So am I excited to see Aaron Pierre in anything? Run it up. I will be set.
We're gonna watch it anyway
in the theater, but we know that it should have been a dark-skinned brother for sure.
Should have.
Agreed. Keisha, you're on the same page?
Oh yeah. Like I said, the character Jon Stewart was created intentionally to be the dark-skinned Black man. Like, that's how it should have happened. They should have stayed true to that. It's it should have been, but like, I mean, he did fine in his other movies, so, and I'm gonna watch it anyway.
He did fine. I mean,
he's such a hater. A hater.
I mean, that one movie he did where he was all like, he all right, you know.
Well, he ate that roll up. Stop playing.
Well, this is interesting because, ladies, to put a fine point on it, you know, colorism is it's a topic that I believe within the Black community we are more aware of than everybody else. So when you put Milestone Comics in the hands of James Gunn, you know what I mean? And all he's thinking is, how do I get butts in seats? You know what I'm saying? I could see why the Aaron Pierre decision was made, although I agree with you, it would have been much better if we could have kept the complexion, because we do see hints of colorism disguised also as racism in some instances. Like, I look back at, there was a show that I really liked. Michael B. Jordan was involved with it. It was called Raising Dion. I don't know if y'all remember this show.
Yes, it was an indie comic first. I loved it. Yeah,
bro. So you probably read the show. So when you see the depiction of the Black woman in that in the pages, she is a clear-cut Black woman. The promotions for the pilot for the show showed a dark-skinned Black woman with her boy who's like, I don't know how to raise this kid. He's magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, all right, Dion, just sit. Oh my God, Dion. You know, and then we get the swap for the actual.
They Aunt Viv'd us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what happened. And so you, as somebody in the community, you're like, you couldn't find out of all the people. And what was wrong with the woman in the like? And so when you see it happen like this over and over, you can't help but wonder, damn. But the inner comic in me is conflicted with, okay, do we put the right complexion up? And if for some reason that person doesn't raise this, fuck that. I can't even think like that because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like,
because I'm like,
we still gotta have like accurate depictions.
Right. Like we should trust people to, actually step out. Like with Sinners, like Black folks are going to come out in droves in support, I believe.
Can we have a talk about that for a second? Can we talk about it? Okay. So I definitely saw Sinners. We all saw Sinners. We loved it. Everybody here, I believe, has seen Sinners, correct?
3 times.
So I have an opinion about Sinners and what you just said. And it's not that I disagree with you, but I do think that the concept of Sinners was able to be successful because it did ride the backs of very successful Black people, mainly Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. I wonder if those two were not involved in the project, would this? I mean, because it's a Ryan Coogler thing. Like he specifically said, like, look, I want something independent, Black Panther. Or how he said, you a Cali young lady. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I was
don't do that.
Don't do that. I want to go out there. I want to do the best job I can. You know what I mean? But Black Panther. Yeah. no, violate. Okay, all right, fine. So he basically was saying, like, no, Black Panther's cool, X-Files, all that's cool, but the best directors and the best people in my position have been able to put forth their own project independently, and that's what's led them to the most success. So Ryan Coogler has found that that success, he needs it independently, separate from Marvel, separate from all these other entities. I've gotta
interject real quick. He pitched that story for years and was forced to do it independently because it was actually initially pitched as a Blade backstory type of situation.
Right, it was. Yeah.
See what happens when you read. I probably should have did that.
But yeah,
you get more than 12 books in your library. You might.
Don't do that.
First of all, this is my family album. All right. Where all the pictures is from me being a kid in Disney World in St. Louis. All right.
So not even all books.
Hey, give me one of these books right here. Give me all these books. So all right. Well, hey, point taken, man. Agreed. So I guess now that we know that you all have DC love, do you not have that same love for Marvel?
She's the DC girly. I'm the Marvel girly. That's kind of how
I have a deep love. I'm currently fixating on Doom right now.
This is a recent obsession.
Yeah.
Doom, like Timothy Chalamet's Doom?
Oh
No.
Doom. No, she said Doom.
Like,
Doom.
Yeah.
Doom. Oh,
yeah.
like
Doom. Yeah. I love villains, and
this guy does too.
No, they make a story. In my opinion, like if you have a great villain, like the story is just infinitely better. And so Doom, I read the Sanford Green one and fell in love with him. And then I was like, all right, Dr. Doom. And then I'm currently reading the One World Under Doom event, and I'm loving it so much.
Y'all see how her voice changed and everything? She's lucky.
He is fantastic.
You can tell she dropped the doctor from his name. It was like Doom. Like they have
no.
one-on-one relationship. Like
no. We're on first name basis.
We be hanging out. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog.
Yeah, no. He's amazing. I am loving the villain that he is right now, and like his relationship with his goddaughter and how messy it is, and the fact that it's Sue Storm's like daughter, like I just think like that's fantastic. This is messy. And like this, it's the only issues that I'm like actually up to date on, and everything that I'm currently pulling. He's fantastic.
Yeah,
she's so ate up.
What is it specifically you love about his villainry? Like that's what I want to know. I want to hear that.
Okay, so currently in the one World Under Doom event, right? He is. There's something about right now where he is doing right. So all our evil villains still evil, right? So currently he has given the world open borders, he's like giving everybody higher education. He's making sure that everybody's protected, and nobody in Marvel is able to figure out if he's still evil, if he's being a bad, whatever. And I'm like, no, he's not evil. It is perspective. I feel the same way about Killmonger. It's just perspective. That's my only thing. Like, if you're against the way he's doing it, sure, but everything right now that he's doing in this new run, I'm like, yeah, go for it, man. Like, off everybody. This is great. Like, give everybody open borders. Like, I'm so good with this right now. It's bringing my heart so much joy seeing that the world is actually getting better under this person. And it's like, yeah, they can't figure out what he's doing right now. I'm enjoying that.
Again, Keisha being a peak Malcolm.
Yeah,
by any means necessary, like in
by
all
any
things.
means. And I know that sounds terrible because then it's a tough line to walk. You can easily dive into some real dark stuff, but right now I'm enjoying Doom for sure in everything he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, Vince. Exactly. Did y'all read the Power Fantasy?
Nah.
Okay.
Oh man,
this is a prime
That's why
example.
it's so important to have libraries behind us.
Is it okay? It's a comic run. Okay, the first arc of it went crazy. Peak example.
It's actually up for an Eisner right now.
Yeah. Peak example of Keisha being a peak Malcolm is that there's a character. I don't want to give spoilers because it's actually an excellent first arc. The main character in there pretty much has to make a decision for the greater good and ends up like murdering hella people. And when I tell you Keisha did not bat an eye because she's like, but yeah, he did, but why did he do it? What were his motivations? What was the overall outcome? So like when Keisha says she loves a good villain, is because low-key she's a villain herself and we love her for it. But listen, there's nothing wrong with being a villain if you're affecting more positive change than the heroes.
It's perspective. I know I know it sounds crazy. I know it's a hot take, but it's perspective. It truly is. Like, if you're helping the greater good, like, please tell me if you had the opportunity to go, I'm not going to say it's on stream, but like, if you had the opportunity to go, take out some Nazis or somebody, you wouldn't do it?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, but is that what's happening? All right. You're giving me hashtag Thanos was right vibes.
Don't get her started on Thanos. Get her started on Thanos.
Okay, Ty.
Well, see that, like, this is where we differ a little bit, Keisha, because I am a villain also, but I'm like the ultimate villain. Like, I don't want to do it because it's for the greater good. I want to fuck everything up because that's evil, and that's all I want. I'm kind of tired of Marvel's depiction of villains in the sense that they always have to have a reason why they're doing something. Like, I'm really waiting for that one villain that comes through like Null, that's like, look, I'm just destroying every fucking thing because I can. You can't stop me. Like, I don't have any no ulterior motives. It's just my nature to be evil. Like, for me,
just chaotic.
One of the greatest villains that I've seen on screen, and it was Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Ugh.
And it was because he just did shit. You were like, oh, I hate this guy. Like, but he never really had a method to his madness. It was just, this dude is innately evil, and his mother knows it, his family knows it, everybody knows it, but he's next in line. So what can you do? Nothing. You can't do shit. until somebody decides, look, I've had enough and everything like that. That's the part where I'm like, Marvel will not embrace that. I just saw Thunderbolts. That was the last Marvel property. So I saw Thunderbolts, and I was like, all right, we got Sentry. Here's your opportunity to use the villain in a right way, and not just any villain, a very, very extremely powerful villain. And then they tapped into the most darkest side of Sentry, which is the Void. The Void takes all of these people and they just start snatching them up or whatever. At this point in the movie, you're like, oh shit, if we might get the villain that we always wanted. But then they're like, no, he's got to have some goodness to him. He's got to be an anti-hero. He's got to be an anti-villain. So then they went back with that approach. That for me is not really committing to the villainry that is a villain. A villain is not I'm not supposed to love the villain unless I'm loving the villain because he's pure evil and he's doing something that goes totally against all that the hero represents. And that's why the Joker is such a good villain when it comes when it comes to the Batman, because he's the polar opposite of everything that Batman represents. So like my thing is, I need Marvel to take that commitment and go hardcore villain. Don't give me a villain that's killing, snapping, a percentage of the population to save all of the universes. No, I want a villain that's coming through and he's on some gangster shit and he's like, who's gonna stop me? Now pull up.
Marvel's never gonna do that though. Well, Marvel's never gonna do it. Well, and I'm gonna always bring it back to like what's happening in our reality. Marvel, you can get Marvel comics on an army base for free. It's always going to serve the military propaganda, so they have to be beatable.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Marvel will never do it. Marvel will never do it, even though it would make it infinitely better.
It's getting.
I do agree. DC I don't think
greater.
I'm sorry, Bree. Were you saying something, Bree?
I just was saying it's giving hater, and Keisha and I have had this conversation before.
Nah, but I love it. I'm glad that y'all aren't mind melded. You don't want. Nah. A wise lady named Joyce Meyer once said, "If two people always think alike, then one of them's not needed." Right, and so I think that it's a good coupling to have where you can share thoughts, even the ones that you don't necessarily see eye to eye on, just like me and this nigga right here. But I'll say this. I think that Ty is speaking out of frustration because of a lack of those type of villains in the last few things that Marvel has put out. Marvel has attempted. They've attempted like the fail, and we don't speak about this movie, so I'm going to say it once and then I'll never say it again. But in X-Men Apocalypse, I'm sorry. In Apocalypse, they tried. Look at Bree's clutching her pearls. She's like, "Oh, don't be saying that shit around me." But in X-Men Apocalypse, they tried to make a devious villain. They tried to give it to us. They even tried to give us, like, oh, he's not really dead. But it failed miserably because I think that what we learned from Infinity War, all right, is that when the villain has complexities, it makes for a better movie sometimes. But what Ty is saying is that all of them ain't got to be like that. All right. Yeah, you can have a Thanos who can bring a bunch of kids in as child laborers that they don't realize that's what they're doing at the point in time when you're killing their whole family behind them. Sure. Yeah, we can feel that he's just trying to help the universe because the global deficit. No, we can't have all these people in the universe. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? We need more room. But Ty's like, all right, well, where's our Galactus? Where's the dude who just wants to eat planets? Like, I just want a dude who's just an evil fuck. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's not like, oh, I'm not here for the greater good of I'm not trying to fool you. I'm not Magneto, and I don't think there's a certain way to go about doing this the right way. No, I'm just hungry, and your planet it belongs in my belly. Like, I think
in my belly.
I think that he's just saying, like, Marvel has taken it feels almost as if there was a board meeting and Kevin Feige was like, okay, from now on, these are our villains. They will all have complex backgrounds in which the viewers will have to wrestle with whether or not they're justified in their actions, i.e. Killmonger, i.e. Doom, i.e. Thanos. But Todd's like, where is my Joker? Where is my motherfucker that's going to burn his half of the money? Because he don't really give a fuck about that. He just wants to cause chaos. He's like, there's plenty of people like that in the Marvel universe, but Marvel is opting out of that. Does he have a point?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Can you give me a villain that does that so I can go read it? Because I do need that if Marvel is gonna rank higher.
that a villain that's completely ruthless, that has no regard for anybody, or that's completely out there?
Noel is pure incarnate evil. Like he's
Okay.
Noel doesn't care. Noel destroys the universe because he can. Like it's like Noel doesn't have the king of the symbiotes. Yeah, like
I'd say no. I'm not as familiar with Noel. I don't necessarily think that he's as powerful as they've made him out to be in Venom.
Oh, he's absolutely as powerful as they've made him be. Like,
I don't. Symbiote. Look, symbiote.
Noel was there. Noel, like if you go back to the Venom movie and they talk about Noel, they say Noel was there before the universe began. Like he was like he's the pure.
The problem is he's symbiotic, bro. He needs another. He can't just function as a person. He needs to function through the resources of others, which makes him, in my opinion, a little more vulnerable. I'm sorry, my opinion. You know what I'm saying? My bad. You know what I'm saying? I think Galactus is the guy. Galactus has no purpose other than to eat planets. Like he's not even really evil. He's just hungry. But your planet has to die because I need to eat. I don't know. That's one of them. But to go back to the Spider-Man universe, I know Keisha, this ain't your thing, but Bree, maybe you and I think Cletus Cassidy
works with the Spider-Verse. She just prefers DC over Marvel.
Yeah, I just
okay. Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, was actually a freaking psychopath with no regard for anybody's well-being. He wasn't this love-struck dude that they tried to paint him as Venom too. Nah, he was literally in a straitjacket in the comic book. You know what I'm saying? And he's ended up getting exposed to the Prometheum X with the symbiote, and then he is like when you look at the comic, you see the spiked symbiotic projectiles that he sends. He's out for death. This dude is chopping people up. This ain't like Venom. Oh, I'm just hungry. I just hate Spider-Man. That's all. They exist. But even when they got the concept of Cletus Cassidy, they made him a love-struck dude. They made him like, his girlfriend. And it's like, no, the fuck. What the fuck? I'm sorry. So yeah, just to add on to Todd's point, every villain doesn't need us to root for them. Okay, every villain does not need to have multiple complex layers in which, deep down, I kind of root. Sometimes they just need to be assholes, and so Marvel just mix that in and out when you can. I guess is what he's saying. Now, with any other thoughts on that?
Check Null out.
Okay,
Noel is very powerful. Vince doesn't know it. Like he's extremely powerful. One of the most powerful people in Marvel comics. And I just think that he doesn't have as much as of a story arc. I think that he's like one of those villains that is extremely powerful. You know that he exists, but he just like shows up here and there in comics and everything like that. I don't think he has his own run of comics and everything like that. But if Marvel can just, because I feel like the multiverse has been a gift and a curse. It now there's no finality. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like like I'll kill you here, and then we'll go steal another you from over here and replace you. You know what I'm saying? So there's no real finality, and I need that when it comes to villainry. If I kill you, you're only as good as your death. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look back at on Game of Thrones and Pedro Pascal's character, all we remember is him fighting his ass off and then getting his fucking head literally crushed to death. So it's like
a very sensitive subject for me.
Exactly. But we need that We need that in order to mark that response in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we kill Pedro and then Pedro's twin brother pulls up the next episode, like, yo, and you're like, oh, he's back. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't hit the same.
Did you just break Last of Us news? Did you just do that?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
The finality.
She's still on sick days. Like, I'm not going to be able to make it into work. It's the death in the family. Okay.
Taking bereavement over here.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Well, that's interesting. I would like to chat. I'm sorry, Ty, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. He brought up Last of Us, and I know that some of you have started watching, maybe not finished. I'd love to tap in to your feelings of Last of Us. Clearly, Bree's a little emotional. She's still,
Bree is pissed. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm angry. I threw things because what?
You threw things?
I threw things.
Why would you? What did you throw? Why are you throwing things?
I was enjoying my charcuterie board and cheese went across the room. Because why in the fuck? Why in the absolute fuck did that just happen?
Yo,
listen, I'm not one of these people who played the video game.
Right.
And I like to go into things with like no hints of spoilers. I'm not a gamer girly as of yet. I'm just getting into that bag. So the idea of me playing The Last of Us so that I know the story just sounds ludicrous because I'm gonna be stuck somewhere in the game and someone else is gonna have to come get me. So I knew I went in blind and I wasn't gonna look for spoilers. But how in the fuck? Excuse my language. That was aggressive.
Please no.
I'm gonna calm down.
No. My face was off of the video playing.
How in the fuck do you take the main reason why I'm watching the damn show and put a sword or whatever the fuck that was they shoved down his neck? I was like, okay, so now the main character is this bitch who gets on my nerves? Is that what we're doing?
100%.
I was like, did we really just make the least likable person on this show the main character now? And Keisha will tell you this. Everybody in my book club will tell you this. That's why I was laughing at what Ty was saying about like finality, because I'm the opposite of that. I'm the person at the end who's like, maybe they're still alive. Like, maybe something will happen and a doctor will come and they'll be able to like put pressure on the wound and somehow he'll be alive in the next episode. That was me. My flabbers were gasted. And I was holding on to hope. And then they're dragging this man's wrapped body behind a fucking horse through the snow. I was like, is this fucking for real?
Yes.
Like, why would y'all do this to me? I don't even want to watch the fucking show now.
Oh, no. You gotta watch.
I said it. Like that, you played the clip earlier where I was like, oh, waiting week to week is irking my soul. I felt that. But I was just like, but we're gonna make time weekly because I need to know what's happening with Pedro. That's bae. And then he gets stabbed in the fucking neck. I was like, what am I watching this for now at this point? And I was like, okay, if he's not alive when we go into the next episode, there better be some hellified shit happening where new people are getting introduced because good sis has been getting on my last nerve since last season. She has no redeeming or likable qualities whatsoever. She's absolutely a little shit. She was terrible to him because I think she had some inkling of what he did, but he did it for her sake. So I just cannot. I was like, there's no way in hell they think that she's about to carry the show. So I watched that episode and I was like, it's still not Nothing you've done in this episode has changed my mind. We're just on a horse with old girl who you don't deserve to have as a friend. And now I have to wait. I have to wait a few episodes before I revisit it. I was watching it week to week, and I won't be doing that now because Ellie is a trash panda, and I can't stand her.
Ooh, hot take, yo, I'm tempted. That was the hottest take. I gotta get Bree the fire right now. Like Bree gotta go into the fire. Like she's like cooking for real. Like whoosh, whoosh.
I'm sorry, I haven't talked about it with anybody else, and it's just still bubbling because I'm like, why would we do that? Why would you do that? All these other shows want to steer from the source material. Pedro does not deserve to go out like that.
Okay, all right. Can I say my piece?
Yeah,
can I say my piece?
I'll settle over here.
I know we just getting to know each other and all, and we done had a little bonding moment. We done looked at each other's eyes. We done swapped book backgrounds. But I'm gonna keep it real. The show is not called Joel. The show is called The Last of Us, of which Joel was one of the last of us. As complex and as dope of a character he is not the show. We loved him, but I have to say, I think that it makes the show way more interesting and gives it more longevity. Nah, I don't need the fire. Take the fire off me, please. I'm not cooking like that. Can I get some snow or something?
Vince said, kill them all.
All right. Yeah. I'm not hot. We gonna give a cold take real quick. Ain't nothing. All right. So, I think that when you kill off, hurt, permanently injure, lose, hide away characters, you give the story more life. And that sounds like it makes no sense. But now Joel, it feels like you stopped at episode 2, which I can understand.
No, I watched the next episode and was just like, we're heading that way. Okay, cool. I see where it's gonna get interesting, but I'm gonna just be mad for a little bit.
I get that. Listen, I felt that same way. Look, when we lost Ned, okay, there was some feelings, right? We literally was like, yo, hold on, man. This is the star of the show. You're gonna kill Boromir? You know what I'm saying? Like in Game of Thrones, I'm talking about Ned. Y'all don't remember Game of Thrones?
Ned Stark.
Yeah. I was like,
say his whole name. I don't know what all these personal relationships. No. Yeah, but I mean, y'all be on this first name basis, and she was with the Doom. You're with that. Like, y'all is personal.
Yeah.
I don't know what relationships you have with these people. I'm just like, you're like Ned. I'm like, I think I'm starting to go through my Rolodex. Like, who do we know named Ned? Like I mean,
you seen the clock turning. I was like, what Neds do I know?
Yeah.
What's crazy is that my first Ned that came to mind was Flanders, and I was like, that can't be who he's talking about.
I don't know if the Simpsons verse has killed off Ned yet in Earth 31616.
That's why I was trying to make it make sense.
No, but check it. So when they killed Ned though on Game of Thrones, spoiler if you haven't seen season 1 of Game of Thrones from 2011, all right?
Yeah.
But yo, we was like, what the who does that, right? But the show went on and dare I say got progressively better towards the end, especially as we got into the battles of the bastards and all that other stuff. In Star Wars episode 4, A New Hope, we lost Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first episode. The first episode, he turns into a Force ghost. Yes, we didn't really know him like that, but it wasn't called Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Star Wars, A New Hope. So I'm not saying this to contest you, but I will say this to at least hopefully help you get past that hump of the feels you've got for Joel and start realizing as much as we hate Ellie, even Ellie is not the main character of this story. The Last of Us are. All of The Last of Us. Now,
I'm gonna wait till the last of the episode of the season is out before I watch the rest of it.
Fair enough. She is a binger. You heard about her binging rights. Anybody gonna step on your right?
That was a terrible example, by the way. The main character, because the main character of Last of Us for the past 2 seasons has been Joel. Like, I mean,
yes, but the story's not about Joel. Look, you can have stories.
No, I get the story's not about Joel. The point that she was making is you took the main character from the story that we've been following from since last season have grown to love, have grown to enjoy, who makes us watch the show, whether it's The Last of Us, the rest of them, whatever. I'm like all I'm saying is I'm with you 100%, Bree.
Thank
When
you.
we lost Joel, I said the same shit. Like I couldn't have said it no better. When we lost Joel, I was like, so is Ellie going to be the main person we follow? Because if so, I hate this show. I absolutely hate everything about this show.
Thank you.
I'm like, oh, Ellie, listen, we cannot just skip past the fact that we all hate Ellie. We hate her. Every episode, including this last one, that like it was crazy when Dina was like, listen, Ellie, if it comes down to running or shooting, we're running. And she was like, okay. And then she reiterated. She said, no. Ellie, if it comes down to running or shooting, we're running. And I have to say this twice to you because you're going to do the opposite of whatever the fuck I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Not 20 minutes later, when shit hits the fan, the first thing that Ellie does is start shooting. That was like, yo, so immediately I'm like, this is why I hate you so much.
Yeah.
Because in an apocalyptic world where monsters roam, where people are here to kill us, you want to continue to put my life at risk. Not only are you putting my life at risk, but you're putting our baby's life at risk, baby daddy. So I'm like, yo, I just cannot fathom watching this woman, this young lady, for another season without something or someone to make me want to watch this show. Now they did add Bree. I don't know if you've seen this part yet. They did add Jeffrey Wright. Now Jeffrey Wright, if ever there is going to be a replacement for Joel, Jeffrey Wright might just be that guy. He's a phenomenal actor. Every role he comes in, he plays it to the T. So I'm looking more forward to seeing him on screen than I am Ellie. But every time Ellie comes on screen, I literally I throw up in my mouth every time. every time I'm just like hurricane. All right, let's see how long
I get it. I'm gonna be the 1 out of 4 on this one because I think I'm also the only one who's played both games. All right, so I think that maybe that might be giving me a little bit of bias because I kind of know
100%.
I
you
know
had
where
time to sit with this eventuality. It's still fresh.
I can't binge a game, so yeah, I had to get all the way through it. But you're right. So we even put out a reel that was like, yo, for those of us that played the game, after we saw that first episode, we was like, oh, y'all into some shit about to happen. We ain't gonna tell you what it is. But yeah, I do think that I'm not in the habit. I believe that your feelings are valid, and it's not my place to try to tell you either that you're wrong or that you need to rethink.
Thank you, Ben.
What I will say is I hope that perhaps as we start unpacking some of the newer elements of the Last of Us world, that some of that will start to nobody's going to take the place of Joel. All right. Nobody's going to take the place of Joel. I almost spoiled something. But the story itself,
one job.
So the story itself will start to be even more intriguing because of the new factors that are introduced. And I dare I say that they're never going to reach the level of love you had for Joel, but the compelling nature of these introductions may bring you back in if you stay with it. There's one spoiler I'll do. This isn't really a spoiler. This is more news. But this season is actually 2 seasons that's going to be split into. So we're not going to get like the conclusion of Last of Us in season 2. It's going to be more of where the game ends. will be where season 3 ends, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So just to kind of tip at those. But yeah, I
this
like
is
that.
How far removed I've been from it. This dropping this bomb that my guy from Westworld is about to be in it. It does help me a little bit because I love him now. He's so good. Yeah. But I was like, I'm going to wait until all the episodes are available because I'm good and pissed right now because it did not make any sense. And like Ty was saying, yeah, Ellie is just not it. She's been getting on my nerves since the beginning of it. And I'm just like, my girl, like her knowing that like if she gets bit or scratched or whatever, she's still good, has like introduced a level of fuck it in her system that nobody else in the zombie apocalypse can afford. And she makes really dumb decisions that make me be like, what are we doing? Like, you're good, but everybody around you is not. So why would you do that? Like, she's consistently putting other people in danger. So I just can't rock with her in like a main role. So knowing that other characters are going to be introduced that will like take some of the earnest off of her to carry the show makes me feel more confident, but I'm still going to wait until all the episodes are available before I watch anymore. Because I watched the episode after he died because I told you I was holding on to hope that somehow he was going to survive that shit. But yeah, after that, I was like, nope, we're going to just wait. So I will watch it. It'll just be weeks later.
You never know. You never know, Bree. You may see him again. Maybe you won't. You know, it might be worth you continue to watch. All right. So just throwing some jewels out there real quick.
Unless you want me like screaming in my stories and adding you, I'm gonna wait.
Hey, I'm the one. Pull on up. I'm the one. All right. Ladies, we're down to like our last 10 or so minutes. And there's a couple things I would love for us to be able to chat on before we lose you for this time. We've had time to talk about, but by the way, real quick, just another real plug. The Pink Riot live comic show airs every Thursday evening, 5 p.m. PT and 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you are a fan of ours, if you follow us, then show these ladies some love, y'all. All right, you know and how unusual it is for us to be able to find folks that vibe with us that would probably do so. You know, even if we had never met with each other, I would still recommend that you all find some camaraderie with this group. So please do us all a favor and give them a follow, give them a like, and share some of their content. Now, on the way out, ladies, like I said, we did talk about a lot of Marvel and DC, but as you know, one of the projects on Marvel's desk right now is Ironheart. Yes. And we had a friend of ours on last week. His name is Michael, but I guess he goes by Black Gay Comic Geek. And he was speaking on how he thought that the Ironheart world was not getting the same love that the rest of the Marvel projects are. And I have to say I agree with them. And it's almost like you can see it happen in advance. They're about the Moon Girl Ironheart, right? They're gonna, nobody's really watching. But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, did they know it was on? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you been promoting it like you have been, Andor? So having all
I need you to knock on that wood and that fake shelf behind you because I don't need that. We don't need that energy for Ironheart. Oh my God.
We were just talking about that.
We were.
So
literally.
like, one, it's frustrating that they had to get bullied into this to drop in that trailer. Yeah, it's very frustrating that happened. And the trailer was good. I'll say that the trailer was good. My issue with the trailer was
Bree, Keisha.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you. Let me stop you real quick.
All right.
Because just to make sure we're all on the same page, can I show the trailer and then you comment on it on the other half of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that cool? Okay. I didn't mean
the same thing on Thursday. So yeah, pop up.
Go ahead.
All right, my apologies. I didn't want to interrupt. I wanted to show the trailer real quick so that the folks in the comment section would also know. If anyone hasn't seen the trailer, we're going to go ahead and air it right now, and we'll talk about it on the other side. So pull up, y'all. Let me know what y'all feel about it. This is the trailer for Ironheart, and let's talk about it on the other side. Let's do it.
Hello? be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
Your interview. You'll suffocate and die unless you break into the device on the floor, where you'll find a gas mask. Good luck.
Screw this.
I heard Riri Williams was a genius. So you win her out. Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
You are not the first genius at MIT.
How come you're not working at one of those fancy tech firms?
After my internship abroad, I want to build something undeniable. Something
Important?
iconic. It's a brand new
I can give you the tools to help you carry out your vision. But anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done. What will you do, Riri?
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew. I could chew a lot. You know nothing about this man.
You're gonna end up dead or in jail.
This is so much bigger than that. This is wild. A shady bunker.
My bunker's not shady. Would a shady bunker have that on the wall?
It's literally above a crate of self-guided missiles.
I'm returning those.
Okay, well,
Yes.
let's go ahead. Now we sometimes we normally would like come back from this and say thumbs up or thumbs down. But in the spirit of having our guests with us for the first time, we'll go ahead and leave that part of it out. Oh, we got two. Oh, okay, look, and the background. Okay, now, hold on. How did you?
It's that
I
Mac
gotta
Live.
put the things on. Okay, the reactions. That's, oh my gosh, look at all that. Let's go.
All right.
So I like the way the trailer looks. I ain't gonna lie. This is my first time. I don't watch trailers for Marvel. All right, let's just y'all. I don't watch them because I know that I'm gonna see the movie, so you don't have to sell it on me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need an hors d'oeuvre. I don't need to get a free sample, and it's just gonna ruin it for me. So that's why I don't do. But I hated to interrupt you, Keisha, but I know we're getting out to the people.
I gotta explain myself because in the chat they were trying to say no. This was a good trailer for me. My only thing is, if we're gonna go back to the villain conversation,
okay.
Yes, we will. Okay, this villain, just from this trailer alone, I have an issue with it because I love Ironheart. I've been an Ironheart fan since Brian Michael Bendis came out with it, and I've read all of stuff. So yeah. John Jennings created a phenomenal villain for Riri called Kim. And seeing this, I know that this villain is not going to compare. This feels like she can't grow with this villain, or maybe there's just going to be this villain for this first season. I just want her to have a great villain, which means I want her to have a great show. I know that this is going to be like a limited series based off of this. I wish she had a villain that she could really grow with. That's my issue. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
I love you, Keisha, but this is like pure biases.
It is. I didn't say it wasn't. I never said it wasn't.
We got a couple minutes of a trailer, and we're making a lot of assumptions about what this villain will and won't
They
be.
basically gave us the whole plot.
Okay, but you also haven't seen everything about the villain. Okay. Another thing to consider too is, and we talked about this on our show before too, so we do this back and forth. We still love each other. We just be talking
yeah,
love it.
But I agree that the villain that John Jennings created for the recent one shot that we read was perfect and is a great match for Riri in that respect. And I don't know if Ty will agree since he has this thing about, villains being evil for the sake of it, but the motivations behind that villain made a lot of sense and it made them like a good match for each other. So it's hard to separate that from whatever this villain will be. But I also feel like part of the issue of why some of these shows don't do so great is because everybody assumes that they know how it's going to be before we even give it a chance.
Yeah.
So you gotta let the beat build, give it an opportunity to surprise you before you assume that it's going to let you down. And I also feel like it would make the most sense that if Ironheart gets her own movie, that she would have a better villain for the movie as opposed to the show. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not mad at this. Another piece that Keisha didn't share is the actor who's playing the villain. She has a huge grudge against this person. And that's why she's automatically looking at that guy sideways.
Is that what it is? Ever since Transformers, huh?
There is a little more bias to that, yes.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. I'm still gonna watch it. We still gonna talk about it. We still gonna make sure everybody else watches it.
Yeah, we talked about this pulling up on day one. Don't wait to watch it. Even if you have it watching in the background, we literally just talked about this very fresh in mind because we
need everybody watching it.
Naomi and like Kindred getting canceled, those types of things, because people didn't pull up from the beginning. And so it didn't get the numbers that it needed for them to feel like there's value and there's an opportunity for growth or for it to expand from here. So even if you feel away, we need you to show up for the show. And I feel you about the like late ass trailer situation. Part of me kind of feels like they were giving Sinners its moment instead of
100%.
Since they're tying this whole Ryan Coogler thing to it. So it felt like it might have come like a week sooner if we hadn't had all of this back and forth about giving Sinners more time in that 70 millimeter format. Because then it had to compete with Thunderbolts and everything else. So really, I feel like if that hadn't been happening, which is a thing, but I'm glad that Sinners is getting its shine and breaking records and all that sort of thing. And I hope it continues to do that. But I really feel like the way that Disney operates and the way the machine moves, they weren't going to be promoting Sinners and Ironheart at the same time like that. Like, if we're being real, the machine is starting to slow down for Sinners. So they're like, all right, now we're going to crank it up for this. Is that right? No, because Ironheart, suffers for it. Because I feel like that everybody needs all of those reminders, because the same type of thing, like they hated heavily on Miss Marvel. They hated heavily on Moon Knight, like all those types of things.
She-Hulk too, yeah.
She-Hulk, yeah, they didn't give it the chance to like boost itself, whereas we do hear nonstop about other things. So yeah, it's a little frustrating, but I'm glad that it's out now. So it's our job as blurs to like scream about it so that people like put some respect on it and give it a chance.
Yes. While I do agree, I do think that they are kind of burying it a bit, because they waited for the hype to die down around Sinners, but then they dropped it on the same day that the Superman 1 dropped. It does feel like they are burying it a bit. So I don't know. We still gonna show up. We still gonna show out.
Yeah, because it's not like they can't cross promote. Go ahead, Ty. Real quick, we got.
I was just gonna say this. I really think that the one thing that has me very confident about this show is the name Ryan Coogler. I think that is the one thing that maybe Disney was also waiting for, was to see the success of Sinners and how much success it had. And then by just saying, as you saw in that trailer, immediately putting executive producer Ryan Coogler at the very beginning of it, so that you know that this is one of his property. So I think it's going to be really good.
I think these are all good points that we can hopefully hold on to, because unfortunately we're running out of time today, but there's so many more days in life that we can use to discuss some of these things. So before we get up out of here, I have to once again thank our special guests for hopefully not the last time today. None other than the Pink Riot crew. What's going on, y'all? They came, they showed up, they showed out, they did their thing. And man, the vibe is real, y'all. So make sure y'all check them out. every Thursday night. All right, East Coast, West Coast time. You see it right here. And don't be late, because y'all know how he is. And don't let the stereotype be real. All right, on behalf of myself, everybody who messes with us, even the ones that are not on screen today for whatever reason that may be, I want to thank our guests, but also want to thank you for showing up and being your authentic self. As you know, that's how we get down. You got to be your authentic self, because if you ain't being yourself, guess what? You being fake. And in all things, like we always say, if you a geek, go ahead, let that good old geek flag fly. Deuces, see you next week. Like, subscribe, comment, and pull back on up.
The new Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit. I hope you'll join us next time.